At a slightly more advanced time, we started having Argentinian casualties. They came on board, and it's quite apparent that the majority of them weren't in the same league at all as our military personnel. They seemed quite young, very frightened. There was one young man who he had to have an x-ray of his brain, his skull, and I don't know quite what he'd been told, but he didn't speak a word of English, and I think he thought it was some sort of torture machine. And I heard him screaming, and I remember running across to him and trying to sort of quietly calm him down, and said, it's okay, don't hold him, he's okay, and you know, smiling and just body language really, and your voice. And he did end up having his x-ray and being treated. They were very, very frightened, probably understandably, because they were on a foreign ship that had been that was their enemy. But they were very different to our military personnel. There was one chappie who was an Argentinian, and he had to have extensive surgery on his leg, with pins and plates. And to set the pins and plates, they use this solution, this thing called Portmouth cement, which once it goes into the air, it sets. It's like a catalyst, it sets. And a piece of this, when I was in the operating theatre, fell on the floor, and I picked it up, and because of the Falklands, I made a little penguin. And when he came round, obviously the same fear that he'd be going into the theatre with was still there. And looking at his leg, you know, he was obviously a very badly injured chappie as well. But I gave him this little penguin. And when the time came for him to be transferred across to the Argentinian hospital ship, he was shouting my name. And they came and found me, and he actually gave me his rosary beads, which I kept for many, many years. And for his religion, that was quite a big thing for him to have done. And he was showing me his little penguin when he gave me the rosary beads. But it was a funny one, really, having the Argentinians on board. Not so much, I think, for the nurses, because for nurses we were still doing our nursing job. But, you know, we wondered really how it would be with our servicemen, and they were fine. I think they all had an appreciation that they were doing their job, you know, and so, yes. Our Royal Marines, they had to transfer our patients by helicopter across to the hospital ship. I can't remember the name of it now, the Argentinian hospital ship. And when they came back, they said that it was pretty grim on there. I mean, our ship wasn't fit for purpose, but they said the comparison was quite daunting. So I don't quite know what they were. And they weren't greeted, so I was told they weren't greeted in the best manner on the hospital ship. I think they were sort of a bit, you know, you've been injured, you know. They weren't as warm, you know, as we were on our ship, I don't think.